Waiting for more John Wick? Missing the Marvel Universe? Or maybe you're after something new? The writers and actors strike may have cast some of these release dates in doubt, but 2024 is still looking like a heck of a year for film. Sony's Spider-Man universe is ready to reopen in 2024 with the release of the weirder, wilder, and woman-centric spin-off, Madam Web. Based on a somewhat obscure Marvel Comics character, the film will introduce audiences to mystical oracle Cassandra Webb, an elderly ally of the webbed wall crawler who uses her powers of clairvoyance to see into his future. With her unique and surprising psychic powers, Webb isn't the kind of action-oriented hero you might expect to see carry their own big-budget feature film. To that end, it seems that Sony has made some significant changes to the character for the upcoming movie, including casting a young actor, Dakota Johnson, in the title role. Madam Web will be joined by quite a talented cast, featuring stars such as Sydney Sweeney, Celeste O'Connor, and Adam Scott. Sweeney was recently confirmed to be playing Julia Carpenter, an early iteration of Spider-Woman in the character's live-action debut. Indeed, the film is expected to see a team-up of various Spider-Women drawn from the comics. Though little is known about the plot at this stage, Sony will no doubt be hoping for another success like Tom Hardy's Venom when Madam Web lands in theaters. It's currently still slated for release on February 16, 2024, though we'll have to see if the film actually hits that release date. Either way, the worst-case scenario for the movie we'd imagine looks a little something like this.
Intriguing.
It's no easy task to go even bigger than the blockbuster crossover Godzilla vs. Kong, but the sequel Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire is going to give it a shot. The previous film faced a mighty challenge back in 2021 as it released to theaters and on HBO Max simultaneously due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Nevertheless, it managed to net an impressive $470 million. With theaters once again a big attraction these days, the sequel stands to fare much better. Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire will see the return of Rebecca Hall as Dr. Eileen Andrews and Brian Tyree Henry as Bernie Hayes, while Legion star Dan Stevens joins the franchise in an as-yet undisclosed role. But while the first film depicted the epic battle between the two titanic terrors, The New Empire will flip the script. Picking up where the last film left off, Kong and Godzilla are now reluctant allies, and the sequel will see the two beasts team up to take on a new menace. The New Empire is set to be released on March 15, 2024. Disney's live-action remakes have been hit or miss, to say the least, but that hasn't slowed the studio down one bit. In 2024, they're going to tackle a classic, releasing a live-action version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, one of the most beloved animated films of all time. If Disney is going to do it justice, they'll need a roster of the industry's best talent to bring it to life. Academy Award nominee Greta Gerwig has been hired to pen the script, while The Amazing Spider-Man's Mark Webb is set to direct. Rachel Zegler of West Side Story fame takes on the title role, while Gal Gadot trades in her own heroic tiara for a crown to play the evil queen. Disney has truncated the movie's title to the simpler Snow White, and they're also planning to update the classic story for modern audiences. The essence remains the same, however. Like the original, Snow White will follow a young princess who is pursued by a vile queen and aided by 7 hospitable dwarves. Will Snow White be able to recapture the magic and meet with acclaim like Jon Favreau's The Jungle Book? Or will it land with a thud like pretty much all of the others? We'll find out when the film arrives on March 22, 2024. After Ryan Reynolds all but forced Fox to push the start button on the Deadpool franchise, the Merc with the Mouth churned out 2 massive money-making hits. But questions immediately arose when the studio was gobbled up by Disney. Would Marvel want the foul-mouthed R-rated Deadpool films integrated into their family-friendly MCU? Those concerns were put to bed in early 2021 by Marvel's head honcho Kevin Feige, who declared that there would indeed be a third Deadpool movie, and that it would retain its harsh rating, glorious violence, and dark sense of humor. But fans were in for one more surprise. When the film was officially announced the following year, Reynolds revealed that Hugh Jackman would be joining him for the threequel, reprising his role as Wolverine, a return he'd previously sworn off. We don't know much about the plot of Deadpool 3, although it's likely the film will depict an epic clash and eventual team-up between Wade Wilson and Logan. Adam Project's Sean Levy will be directing, and a number of cast members from Deadpool and Deadpool 2 will return too, including Morena Baccarin, Stefanka Pisek, Brianna Hildebrand, and even Rob Delaney.
Never underestimate a man with a mustache. Just ask anyone in Brooklyn. You're a goddamn superhero, you!
X-Force!
The cast also includes Emma Corrin and Matthew McFadden in unannounced roles. Deadpool 3 is planned to hit theaters on May 3, 2024, though production is currently stopped due to the writers and actors strike. John Wick is one of the modern day's hottest movie series, and in 2024, the franchise brings us the second of two upcoming spin-off projects, Ballerina. Set between the third and fourth John Wick films, Ballerina stars Ana de Armas as a deadly assassin, with Keanu Reeves due to return in an extended cameo role. Other actors scheduled to return in some capacity or another include Angelica Houston as the director, Ian McShane as Winston, and Lance Reddick as Sharon in one of the late star's final performances. Len Wiseman, who helmed the 2012 remake of Total Recall, is taking directorial duties on Ballerina, while Emerald Fennell, writer-director of Promising Young Woman, joined Shay Hatton to work on the script. Though not much has been released regarding the film's story, Ballerina stands to be another first-rate action thriller. And if the John Wick films are anything to go by, it'll no doubt blow fans away when it releases. The film is slated to arrive on June 7, 2024. Pixar is known for founding wildly popular franchises such as Toy Story and Cars, and in 2024 they'll add another to its ranks with Inside Out 2. The first film in the series came out all the way back in 2015, and while the kids who saw it in theaters may have grown up, the sequel stands to bring in a whole new generation of viewers. Written and directed by Pixar veteran Pete Docter, the first Inside Out centers around a young girl named Riley, whose emotions manifest as characters inside her head. The movie was a monster hit, amassing more than $800 million at the box office. Thus far, Amy Poehler is the only cast member officially announced for the sequel. She'll reprise the role of Joy. Actor Mindy Kaling, who voiced Disgust, has revealed that she is not involved, with rumors swirling about contract negotiations breaking down over a salary dispute. Bill Hader, who played Fear, will not be coming back either, but Louis Black and Phyllis Smith, who play Anger and Sadness respectively, are expected to return. As for the plot, well, Poehler has revealed that the film will pick up with Riley as she deals with the emotional changes of adolescence.
Hey, guys, what's puberty? I don't know. It's probably not important.
But we'll have to wait for June 14th, 2024 to see how it all goes down. Disney's live-action Lion King movie proved divisive among fans and critics, with many feeling the shot-for-shot remake was a wholly unnecessary endeavor. But the box office doesn't lie. The Lion King made over $1 billion in theaters, making it quite clear there's a huge appetite for more adventures at Pride Rock. Thus, in 2024, Disney will release a prequel, Mufasa: The Lion King, if Beale Street Could Talk director Barry Jenkins replaces Jon Favreau behind the camera, while Aaron Pierre will step in as the voice of a younger Mufasa. Returning cast members for the prequel include Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen as Timon and Pumbaa, as well as John Connie as Rafiki. Kelvin Harrison Jr. will voice the younger Scar. Once again, Disney will use lifelike CGI animation to recreate the stunning photorealistic world of The Lion King. This time for a story that explores Mufasa's youth. Disney has so far revealed that a devastating flood leaves him orphaned to be adopted by another pride. Battling against the odds, this ordinary outsider will rise up to take his place as the king of the jungle, and it's planned to happen on July 5th, 2024. The second animated sequel to drop in the summer of 2024, Despicable Me 4 comes 7 years after the third installment, but just 2 years after the third Minions spin-off film, which told the origin of the film's anti-hero Gru. In this installment, Gru is back, once again voiced by Steve Carell, while Kristen Wiig returns as Lucy, Gru's wife and an agent of the Anti-Villain League. The little yellow minions you, or at least your kids, love will be back too, played by voice actor Pierre Coffin. What will they be up to? Well, the details are sketchy at this point, but what we do know is that the fourth film will begin shortly after the events of Despicable Me 3, and will follow Gru, his family, and his minions as they hunt bad guys for the Anti-Villain League. So far, Illumination has kept quiet regarding the plot's exact details, which we probably won't learn more about before the first trailer releases. But there may be a wait for the first footage, as the film's ultimate release is still fairly far away. Despicable Me 4 is scheduled for July 3rd, 2024. Based on the novel by A.M. Shine, The Watchers is a supernatural thriller whose director, Ishana Shyamalan, has been making a few waves recently. The daughter of legendary director M. Night Shyamalan, Ishana cut her teeth as second unit director on her father's movie Old. She also worked as a producer, writer, and director on the Apple TV series Servant. The Watchers will be her big screen debut when it premieres in 2024. The novel tells the story of Mina, a woman who becomes lost in an Irish forest and struggles to survive while being hunted by strange otherworldly monsters. In this film version of the story, actress Dakota Fanning will star as Mina, while Georgina Campbell has been cast in a leading role alongside her. Adapted to film by Ashana Shyamalan and A.M. Shine, the script became the subject of a minor bidding war among rival studios. In the end, New Line Cinema won out. Though not yet in production, The Watchers is due to begin filming in fall 2023, with a planned release date of June 7th, 2024. M. Night Shyamalan films are fairly divisive, but the director's willingness to take big swings on unique projects always makes them must-watch experiences. That's especially true now that he's focused himself on making smaller, stranger titles, such as The Visit and Old. Whether you loved these movies or hated them, they certainly got people talking. That's what makes Shyamalan special. He's always bringing something fresh to a cinematic landscape dominated by familiar brand names. And he's not done yet. In 2023, Shyamalan faced the apocalypse with Knock at the Cabin, and in 2024, he'll be leading us straight into Trap, which is set for release on August 2nd, 2024. Other than that, we don't know much about it. Will it be an original Shyamalan script? Will it be adapted from a previous work? Will it feature any big names that the director worked with before? We're not sure. The only other bit of info we know at the moment is that Trap will be the first film in a multi-year first-look deal Shyamalan signed with Warner Brothers, meaning the director is finally leaving Universal, his longtime studio home. If you're looking for a studio with a consistent track record of first-rate horror movies and thrillers, it's hard to find better than Blumhouse. Since 2010, they've been responsible for some of the most popular and critically acclaimed horror films around. They've also been a showcase for up-and-coming directors, courtesy of hits such as James Wan's Insidious, Jordan Peele's Get Out, and Lee Whannell's The Invisible Man.
You think you're learning how to beat me, so I'm going to truly teach you something.
So naturally, the studio's upcoming suspense story, Speak No Evil, is also bound to be a hit. A remake of a 2022 Danish film of the same name, Speak No Evil is helmed by Woman in Black director James Watkins and will star James McAvoy, whose performance in Blumhouse's Split and Glass earned him critical acclaim. The Danish original follows Bjorn and Louise, a couple who are invited to spend a holiday with Patrick, Karen, and their son, Abel, after meeting them on vacation in Tuscany. Planned as a pleasant weekend in a remote village in the Netherlands, Bjorn and Louise's getaway spirals out of control when their hosts begin exhibiting disturbing behavior. McAvoy will feature in the film alongside Scoot McNairy and Mackenzie Davis of Terminator Dark Fate fame. The film is currently scheduled to hit theaters on August 9th, 2024. There are few films more iconic to the goth crowd than Beetlejuice, the 1988 absurdist black comedy from director Tim Burton. The film starred Winona Ryder as Lydia Dietz, a morose teen who moves into a new home and meets the ghosts of married couple Barbara and Adam, as well as a sass-talking trickster from the underworld named Beetlejuice. Strange, surreal, and entirely one of a kind, the film made Tim Burton one of Hollywood's hottest directors and helped solidify both Ryder and Michael Keaton as stars. And while all attempts to get a sequel off the ground have failed thus far, it looks like we're finally getting one in 2024. Announced in May 2023, Beetlejuice 2 is finally a go, and it already has its leading lady attached, Jenna Ortega, who more than proved her goth credentials in Netflix's Wednesday. It looks like Winona Ryder is coming back as Lydia Dietz too, presumably the mother of Ortega's new character. She'll be joined by Catherine O'Hara as Delia Dietz and Monica Bellucci as Beetlejuice's wife. Justin Theroux will play an unknown part, and screen legend Willem Dafoe appears to be playing some sort of afterlife law enforcement officer. And of course, you can't make a Beetlejuice movie without Michael Keaton. Luckily, the Oscar-nominated star is indeed returning as the ghost with the most.
It's showtime.
Wednesday scribes Miles Miller and Alfred Goh are writing the script, while Burton himself is expected to direct. Beetlejuice 2 is expected to arrive in theaters on September 24th, 2024. Despite suffering a steady decline in box office takings, Paramount continues to forge ahead with the Transformers movie franchise. Hot on the heels of Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, the studio is set to return the series to its animated roots. Transformers 1, a fully animated feature film, explores the origins of the Autobots and Decepticons on Cybertron long before the events of the 2007 blockbuster series. Revolving around the unlikely friendship between Optimus Prime and Megatron, this movie will chronicle their journey to becoming bitter rivals and deadly enemies. The voice cast is impressive, with a group of A-list superstars lending their talents to the cartoon prequel, including Chris Hemsworth and Brian Tyree Henry. Toy Story 4 filmmaker Josh Cooley directs the movie, while Steven Spielberg once again serves as producer. Transformers fans can expect to see the movie roll out in cinemas on September 13, 2024. Many fans believe that the third installment in a superhero trilogy tends to be the worst. It certainly rings true for the X-Men trilogy, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, and Blade Trinity, although recent threequels such as Captain America Civil War and Spider-Man No Way Home appear to have broken the curse. In 2024, Sony is hoping to continue that positive trend with a third Venom film, currently scheduled for July 2024, in a rare move of the studios announcing a sooner release date than the original announcement for October 2024. Tom Hardy will be back in the title role, of course, while Doctor Strange's Chiwetel Ejiofor has been cast in an undisclosed part, and Emmy-nominated Ted Lasso star Juno Temple has joined the cast as well. And while Andy Serkis impressed behind the director's chair in the second film, screenwriter Kelly Marcel will take the helm for this one. Marcel, who wrote the first two movies, is also penning the script, based on a story she developed with Hardy. Little is known about the plot of the third movie, but after the conclusion of the previous film, there are plenty of dangling plot threads to follow. That said, given Tom Holland's recent announcement that he's about to take a break from acting, it's unlikely we'll see his Peter Parker taking on Eddie Brock just yet, despite the tease in Let There Be Carnage. Still, considering the billion-dollar gross of the first two films and overwhelmingly positive reviews from fans, expectations are high for the next movie to deliver even more spine-tingling thrills, over-the-top spills, and gut-busting kills. Only time will tell whether the threequel curse is truly broken. It's rare to see a sequel to a Best Picture Oscar winner, let alone a legacy sequel decades later, but that's exactly what we're getting in 2024 when Ridley Scott returns to direct Gladiator 2. The original, released in 2000, won 5 Academy Awards, quickly cementing its reputation as a bona fide classic. The third classic movie to which Scott has returned in recent years, Gladiator 2 will see a mostly new cast of characters populate a story that takes place in a very different world.
Are you not entertained?
Paul Mescal, who earned an Oscar nomination for his work in Aftersun, stars as the lead character, a grown-up Lucius, the young boy portrayed by Spencer Treat Clark in the original film. Connie Nielsen will be returning as Lucius's mother, Lucilla, daughter of the late Emperor Marcus Aurelius. They will be joined by an all-star cast that includes May Calamawy, Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, Barry Keoghan, and Derek Jacobi. Meanwhile, David Scarpa has penned the script. Gladiator 2 is scheduled for November 22, 2024. After years of stops, starts, and missed release dates, a feature film adaptation of Wicked is finally on the way. This vision of L. Frank Baum's Oz reimagines Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, as a sympathetic protagonist. Her story is told through an array of vibrant musical numbers that have become enormously popular with theater kids and audiences alike. Given that ubiquity, it's no surprise that the general public are so hotly anticipating a movie version of Wicked. This adaptation is directed by John M. Chu, who proved his musical chops helming the In the Heights movie, while Cynthia Erivo of Harriet and pop star Ariana Grande headline a star-studded ensemble cast as Elphaba and Glinda, respectively. They'll be joined here by the Oscar-winning Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible and Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard of Oz. With a lead cast like that, there's no question that the beloved musical numbers in Wicked will be delivered with plenty of gusto and energy. Fans can get excited about the potential for memorable imagery and choose vibrant visual sensibilities too. It's taken countless years of nervous anticipation, but the first installment in the 2-part Wicked movie series is finally going to arrive in theaters on November 27th, 2024.
All right, Eggman, you want to get fast? Let's get fast.
Video game adaptations used to be known as a dud genre. Thanks in no small part to Sonic the Hedgehog, however, they're now hotter than ever. One of the last blockbusters to release before the COVID-19 pandemic struck in 2020, the first Sonic film took in $319 million at the global box office. Its sequel performed even better. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 introduced the villain Knuckles, voiced by Idris Elba, who is due for his own spin-off TV series on Paramount+. And the movie franchise isn't slowing down anytime soon, as a proper threequel, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, will drop in 2024. Not much is known about this next entry in the series right now. However, a tease on Twitter announcing the film back in August 2022 suggests that both Tails and Knuckles could be back in action alongside the eponymous Sonic, once again voiced by Ben Schwartz. Nobody's too sure whether Jim Carrey will return as Dr. Robotnik, however, as the actor has said that he is serious about retiring from acting. If he stands by his word, we'll be in for a new villain because producers have said they have no plans to replace Carrey in the role. Either way, Sonic is speeding towards release on December 20th, 2024. First introduced in the comics as a morally ambiguous replacement for the Avengers, the Thunderbolts team is composed of a variety of former villains. The MCU movie Thunderbolts, however, will introduce a slightly different team. Announced in 2022, Thunderbolts will act as a culmination of multiple storylines from previous films, featuring a cast made up of previously seen anti-heroes. This includes Red Guardian, Yelena Belova, Taskmaster, the Winter Soldier, US Agent, and the mysterious Ghost.
It still fits.
They'll be led by CIA Director Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, although it remains to be seen if Harrison Ford's Thaddeus Ross will be a member of the team. We know Ford will be showing up in Captain America: Brave New World, but there's been no confirmation that this character will appear in the film just yet. Meanwhile, Walking Dead star Steven Yeun has joined the cast too, with all signs suggesting that he will be playing the superpowered Goliath known as the Sentry. Directed by Jake Schreier and penned by Lee Sung-jin, both of whom recently struck gold with the Netflix series Beef, the film seems poised to rock the very foundations of the MCU. Expect to see these ragtag heroes in action on December 20th, 2024. Once known only as a comedian, Jordan Peele has recently established himself as one of the brightest writer-directors in Hollywood. Oozing with atmosphere and filled with symbolism and allegory, his 2017 sci-fi thriller Get Out blew the world away with its story of a young man who discovers a terrifying and bizarre secret after meeting his girlfriend's family. Often exploring themes of racism and social injustice, Peele's films have garnered an outpouring of critical acclaim, with follow-ups Us and Nope delivering plenty of thrills and thought-provoking dramatics. In 2023, it was announced that Peele's as-yet untitled fourth film will arrive on Christmas Day 2024, making it alternative programming for big-budget blockbusters Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Thunderbolts. As of press time, we don't know the genre of the film, let alone who will star or what it will be about. Will it be a chilling horror movie like Us or a mind-bending sci-fi like Get Out? Nobody knows, but one thing is for sure. This movie will no doubt be a highly inventive project starring some of the best actors in Hollywood. After all, Peele remains one of the most in-demand filmmakers currently working. While we can't say who's involved just yet, you can make a safe bet that Daniel Kaluuya will likely make an appearance, as the British actor has starred in 2 of Peele's 3 films so far. Actor-turned-director John Krasinski is still wowing audiences in front of the camera with his leading role in the 4th and final season of Jack Ryan. After that, though, he'll be turning his attention back to directing. In fact, he recently announced his next film, and it's not what you might expect from the creator of A Quiet Place. Krasinski is mostly keeping tight-lipped about the project for now, but the name of the film is intriguing enough on its own. It's titled simply If. If is said to be a story about childhood imagination. During a presentation of behind-the-scenes footage at CinemaCon, Krasinski said, "I had this idea for a movie years ago about imaginary friends." The film's cast will be a mix of live-action stars and voice talent, featuring Krasinski himself and a number of Hollywood heavyweights, from Ryan Reynolds to Emily Blunt to Matt Damon and more. Despite all that secrecy, If has already completed filming. The movie is due for release on May 24th, 2024.